And I'll start off with the old grandpa and grandma point here. Social media and the internet. Screenagers, am I right? As cliche as it sounds, you know, old pop talking down on the internet and that tic-tac, it's completely true. Social media is easily the most used thing in mankind besides your mother. And it's seemingly meant to bring us closer together, but it's only brought us further apart. And it's not social media inherently that tipped the cow of community, but more how it's used. People don't use it as a supplementation towards their social life or their social community. They use it as a replacement. I've seen it firsthand with fellas online, but also people in person. They'll be giggling at their phone at some Discord server, but you try to go up and talk to them and they'll literally stay silent. They'll turn their head the other way so they don't have to talk to you. It's a lot easier to find comfort in speaking to people online. Little story. I used to go on Omegle back in the day, like freshman year of high school, to increase my Riz. Because it's a lot easier to talk to some random chick online than it is to talk to a girl in person. And me doing this lines up with when I was prawn addicted, video game addicted.
Oh my god! I'm gonna rip my skin off!
Overall loserish. It's not a coincidence. It's because me being loserish made me seek comfort online. And this replacement of social contact, well, it's not a replacement. It doesn't provide what we need as humans to fulfill our social interaction. And with the internet, the community that has been built, the community that is there, it's been niched down so much. There's subreddits for this and that, every little hobby, every little board game that there is. And if you do really get into one of these things and you love it, you can't go out in person and talk to people about it. You'll just seem like a little weirdo, or no one will know what the hell it is. And that leads nicely into my next point, division. With the niching down to the internet comes division, and division causes lack of community. In 2016, we had a very particular election with Hillary Clinton and Mr. Trumpet, in which we saw the most division ever in any election, and it coincides with the uprise of social media. In 2012, less than 1 billion people were using the top social media apps. 2016, over 1 billion people. I don't think I needed to show that little graph to prove my point. If you were alive back then, you know social media was on the uprise. And with the rise of social media came the ability to say whatever the hell you wanted, and saying the most extreme things garnered the most attention, the most likes, the most money sometimes. Joining one side or another allowed you to feel like you were part of something bigger, or you're unique. The election provided a perfect breeding grounds for this, having two sides with differing opinions. And I use the election as an example here, but the internet in general is just riddled with this disagreement, and there's zero respect in this disagreement, which is the key point. Even in self-improvement, there is so much division with the red pill, the black pill, religion types, meditation types, you know, the manosphere. And people like to get very mad on the internet when you disagree with them. And before the internet and social media, people did disagree. I mean, look at the Holocaust. But generally, it wasn't so extreme, and it certainly wasn't so frequent. I've met way too many people who suffer from really low self-esteems. Me, myself, back in the middle school and early high school days, definitely had some low self-esteem problems. And there's no hate on people with low self-esteem, but it shouldn't be such a common thing. And to put it bluntly, this low self-esteem is a result of low self-respect because of the complacent times we live in. We live in such easy times, at least where I live, America, and it's a blessing. It really is. And I'm grateful for it. But it's also a curse. A big old curse, because we have to seek out our own suffering if you want to truly gain self-respect for yourself. And because of social media and whatnot, and the extremism that goes on there, a lot of people get this belief in their head that self-esteem is derived purely from looks. You'll feel better about yourself if you're pretty, if you're handsome, if you got that hourglass build, if you got a six-pack. And of course there is self-respect in looking good. That's why looks maxing is a thing. That's why lifting is so popular. But it's a small portion of self-respect. The majority of respect, the real respect, comes in knowing you can push through, that you can suffer that you can control yourself. You have willpower. In other words, you respect yourself. And low self-esteem contributes to lack of community because of negativity and toxicity. Low self-esteem isn't exactly something you want to throw on people and brew with other people, especially other people with low self-esteem. It just creates toxicity. Negativity is only going to create more negativity. And a negative community, well, it just doesn't last. That's honestly why I think a lot of high school friendships are so short-termed, because they're all based on either fulfilling one's low self-esteem or fulfilling the need of dopamine from hanging out with friends. And when friendship is that shallow, when it's based upon such a shallow foundation, of course it's not going to last. And this shallow high school friendship is the only taste most people get of friendship. And they're just like, yep, that's just how it's supposed to be. So now onto the problem solver part of this video. What can we do about On an individual basis, you can do the obvious things like self-help, raise your self-esteem, raise your self-respect, do hard things like working out, force yourself to suffer. Self-improvement, it's pretty obvious, right? The best cope ever. It raises your self-esteem, raises your happiness, things that most people desire but don't know how to get. But I wanted to dig deeper into what you can do as an individual, because self-improvement, it's pretty base level, honestly. But you have to be the beacon of light, as dramatic as that sounds. If you want community in your life, you have to create the community. You have to invite people to shit, you know, get out more. And I can't lie, this is probably hard if you're not in high school or college. Can't really speak directly on it because I am in high school and I see a lot of opportunities. So if you are in high school or college, around people your age, you have to create the community and you have to deepen that community. And I know from experience, the only way to deepen community, deepen friendship, is to take action. You gotta treat it like something you actually care about, not just like some side thing. Treat it as a priority. And to those who aren't around people their age all the time, which is an unfortunate reality of many, it's gonna be a bit harder. But you just have to go out in public, go to your gym, start going to a public gym and talk to people, start going to an MMA gym and talk to people, start doing little hobbies and talk to people. There's a lot more opportunities than you think. You just gotta look around a little. And I'll admit, back in the day, you probably didn't have to look this hard. Like in the 1960s, kids just ambled their way down to the baseball field, and they had a whole ass friend group right there for the next 12 years. Unfortunately, you do have to look, but all hope isn't lost. It just takes a little effort. And this all honestly ties back into the low self-esteem thing. Because if you're an average Joe watching this, you probably have some low self-esteem. You have a hard time talking to people. You have a hard time putting yourself out there. And in that case, you need to raise your self-esteem. I've got videos on my channel on how to do all sorts of self-improvement stuff. I've got personal coaching if you want to spend some of that ka-ching. Not to mention all the other YouTube channels and avenues in which you can learn from. If you're going to be a basement dweller, at least make it worth your time. And on a large scale, because I've been talking about the individual scale, but on a mass scale, what can we do? Me making this video is my attempt at chipping at the mass, because the more people that see it, the more people open their eyes to the problem that is Gen Z loneliness. But I am aware most people don't have a YouTube channel. And in that case, stick to the individual things. Be that beacon of light that creates community, that has a positive impact on people. And in turn, you will be chipping away at the mass problem that is loneliness. And there are societal things that get in the way. Societal things that you and I can't control. We can't let those things run our life. We gotta focus on ourselves, focus on those around us, and in turn, we will be helping in the loneliness crisis. Moi. On that note, I opened Abri & Coaches the other day. A full-blown website, I know. Basically, it's a 2 to 4 week program in which I prioritize your progress through online coaching. Could be literally any avenue of progress, like girls, the gym, nofap. It could be completely unrelated to any of that. Those are just like the 3 main ones. But I guarantee progress in those 2 to 4 weeks, or you get 80% of your money back. But before I go, that was so stupid. I'll see you in the next one.